and welcome
to another episode of the Dive Plotters.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Is that so? So,
No,
yeah.
not yet. Not
You've
yet.
been underwater recently.
Yes, I've been underwater.
Okay.
So originally for today's episode, I wanted to get Julian, our resident dive master, in for this episode, but because he was unavailable, we'll do his dive episode another time, because I do want to have an episode talking about diving, and kind of relating that to watches. And Julian, if you remember, we have two Julians, not Julien, but Julian.
Yeah.
One's Swiss and French. The other one is South African. But Julian, the South African, is a Navy diver. So I did some diving for the first time.
Oh,
so
was a Navy diver.
Was yes. Now he works for SAP. It's a big change. Now he only dives into databases, I guess.
Enterprise resource planning.
So effectively, I went diving. I was gone for last 6 days.
What are you wearing? We have to check this first.
Of course. Well, why don't you go first, and then we'll go into mine.
Yeah, I have 3 new watch alerts this episode, but I'm not wearing the new one. I'm wearing my Norcane Independence 21 with a kinesis movement and the scratched dial. Deliberately scratched dial. That's not that I did it. With a light blue strap from, I think it was Hodinkee, if I'm not right. Yes, the Hodinkee strap that I got for like $10 or something. This special deal.
Yeah.
22 millimeters wasn't so popular, so they still had it. Beautiful quality. It's nice. Light blue. And you?
You still have my 22 millimeter fabric strap that you haven't picked up. That would be perfect.
I checked with George if he can.
He's on holiday in Greece at the moment. Yeah, he's gone for like a month. But the 22 millimeter fabric navy blue strap on this would be fantastic.
Yep, that could work very well.
It would. Okay, so tell us about your new watches that you're not wearing.
Okay, I have, of course, one in my hand. And this came from a conversation I had with a colleague of mine, actually with my boss. He bought an Orient watch. He's also a bit of a watch collector. And I thought, yeah, these Orient watches, I had a few of them. A couple of years ago, I had these Marcos. It's like more than 10 years ago. But it's the thing is, there was a time when Orient wanted to really penetrate the US market. And they had this Orient Watch USA or something like that, .com website. And the distributor there had lots of special deals, lots of discounts, 50%. And it was a bit like the Invicta discounts. I thought like, what's going on, right? And I bought a lot of watches there for like $100, $150. Really, really cheap, affordable. These Marcos, Marco 1, Marco 2, the big one, the small one. They had all different nicknames, which I all forgot. But I got back and looked at them, and I thought I found one, a limited edition, 75 years limited edition for the Divers 40 millimeter version with a steel bezel and a nice light blue dial that has also some nice structures. It doesn't come across nicely on this camera here. So
it looks like the Black Bay 54 Blue Lagoon.
Yes, it does to a certain extent. But it was released 2023. So it
older.
Yeah, it's a bit older. But it was still available. I have the version number 2160 of 6000, which is quite a lot for a limited edition. And as you know, this company, Orient, is part of Seiko Epson. Epson. So Epson is part of Seiko. Seiko is, but it's still a company that is producing their own stuff. So they're not just a different brand from Seiko. Their movements are separate. They even make their own hairsprings, and Seiko makes their own hairsprings. So they have 2 manufacturers of hairsprings in the same company. So they're still separate from each other. And I really liked it. It has this nice yellow second hand. You can't really see this in this.
Yeah, I see it now.
It looks really, really nice. Yeah, and my point was, I saw it for about 2,500 dirhams. And I thought, it's a bit much, but it is pretty nice quality. It looks good. Then I checked on Amazon, and they had it on offer for $999
dirhams.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Thought,
all right.
yeah, let me buy this and see if it's actually real, because everything is now even faked, right? So and I got it. It is the real deal, and I was pretty happy about this. So I thought this is great. I can live with this price, and then I'll show you that in a better version here, so that you can marvel at the absolute design of this. Let me go this Chrome window. I don't know. Just give me a second. And this is really. I think it's absolutely lovely. It has a 20 millimeter lugs, 40 millimeter case. It's relatively slim for a dive watch, but yeah, it is a nice one. The next one will be even better. But let me first show you this one. So you see here the structure of the dial. You see the nice second hand. You can see it, right?
Yeah, very nice.
It's actually really
quite
nice.
how good that looks for 1,000 dirhams.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a typical Orient. I mean, it's a stamped clasp, but it's a solid.
Was this local or was this import? Amazon
No,
import?
it's local. It's somewhat came from Amazon. Has still the original stickers on it, and it's. I guess the only thing that these watches don't have solid is the end links. The end links are still.
Folded.
These folded things. But other than that, it's a lovely watch. It's a watch that will probably last decades, right? Because these Orient watches are just indestructible, right?
I think it will last a very, very long time. I think you're gonna
200-meter water resistance, screw down crown, has a sapphire crystal. Sorry, it was launched in April 2025. Sorry. Yeah.
So it was afterwards, after the Blue Lagoon.
Yeah, but still.
Because for those that are listening, obviously nobody's watching because we're not doing a video. But it is the same light blue dial, and it has the stainless steel bezel, just like the Blue Lagoon Tudor. But it is very similar.
Not similar, but yeah, it's a 75th anniversary, 6,000 pieces limited edition. Yeah, and then now. I did something else. Let me stop sharing.
And you bought 6 more.
Sorry for the small hiccup. We are back. I just
Ralf and recording, but luckily we
stop the screen sharing, but then actually stop the recording. So what I did was I bought 2 more watches, right? And
both Orients.
No, not Orients. Okay. I bought 2 watches, and each of them cost me 75 dirhams. So that's for Europeans. That's about 16 euros. And it is one of our topics today. It's about hype. So I bought into the hype, and I bought this. The Boyle Pop. The Boyle Pop. And it comes in this nice box, right? And I bought also the green Boyle Pop.
Can you remove the sharing of your Orient? Because I'm still just seeing the Orient.
Yeah, that's because I stopped the wrong one. So now
all right, now tell me this Boyle Pop.
These Boyle Pops. It comes in this little box.
D Sport Boyle Pop.
Yes, the brand is called D Sport, and the watch is called Boyle Pop. Of course, it's a copy of the Royal Pop.
The color of this one is pigmento blue.
Yeah, so I'm opening the box for you, and it comes already attached on this beautiful rubber strap, and it has also this hang thing here on the other side where you can just attach it to stuff. You can, of course, take the watch, and I'm only showing you the blue one. The green one is, of course, exactly the same stuff, just in green. It has this design, as you would expect, with the small seconds. That does not work. It's just a two-hander. It just pops out of this as well. Check. Yeah, you can see it's nice.
It paps out.
It paps out, yeah, because it's not a pop. It's a pap. It has on the back even the mechanical movement as a sticker, because it is a quartz watch, obviously, for the price of 75 dirhams. It has, of course, here this little case. So you see a sticker simulating the mechanical movement with just a print, and
I'm speechless.
it is cheap, but it looks exactly how it's supposed to look. And apparently, it is a 1-to-1 size copy. That means that this holder, the strap holder, can actually also you can put the real one in, right? If you wanted to, because of course the real one doesn't come with a strap, right? But the Boyle Pup does, and it's surprisingly wearing very nicely. First of all, because it's super light, obviously, because there's nothing in it. The cheapest quartz movement probably that is possible. Has a surprisingly comfortable rubber strap. Literally, it's surprisingly comfortable, and it wears good.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to have the feeling of wearing a Royal, this is it. You have the feeling of a Royal Pup. It's just, yeah, it's as a joke and as a research object, because I want to see when I'm wearing this outside, and this is coming to the main topic yet. No,
I still have to go my topic before we go to the main topic.
Right. So it's first diving topic, but this will be for the main topic, the hype stuff. Yep. The problem is if anybody will comment on this watch, because I have not seen a single...
Spoiler alert. No, nobody will care.
I have not seen a single person wearing a Royal Pop yet.
And
having a Royal Pop attached to anything.
Yeah.
Not seen a single person. So I was wondering if I am that person that at least has an homage to a Royal Pop, if people look at it or see it and ask me questions about it. Let's see. But in vain,
I am wearing my Tudor Pelagos FXD. And do you remember the hype around this when it came out?
Oh, yes.
It was nuts. People were paying above retail. Tudor didn't have any available. You had to be some like special person to get one. And this is the MN21, which is the original one, which was only made for 2 months or 1.5 months. Mm-hmm. So I should say it only sold for 1.5 months.
Yes.
Because somebody pointed out, I don't know if it was you, that, just because it was sold in November, that means that it had to be produced prior to that, right? So we don't know how many months of production there was.
Yeah.
But Tudor wouldn't have made more than they could have sold. And I asked ChatGPT about this. I don't know if we discussed this or not, but ChatGPT said effectively, let me see if I can find the exact numbers that he said, and rightly so. He said, given Tudor's, let me see if I can find how many FXDs were made.
You said something about that, right?
God bless. Where is it? I have so many of these saved, chats in here. I know for a fact it has to be somewhere here, but anyway, while I look at this, the point is, yes, obviously, they had to be made in limited quantities because it is a very niche watch. Regular people are not buying things that are, fixed lugs, 42 millimeter. Nobody knows who the Marine Nationale is, the history of it. So they're not, according to ChatGPT, right? If I were to find this, they're not going to go out and make 50% of their production FXDs, right?
Right.
So he said hard maximum. They said for those months before the November release, they said 10%. Like that's a hard max. So Tudor makes about, I think it was around 500,000 watches.
No, less, 300.
Less than 300,000, something. I wish I had the freaking exact numbers because he goes into this and he builds it up. How many of these could have been made MN21s?
And also these production numbers were, there was like 350,000, 400,000, but then they were reduced down in the last few years. And I think it was because Tudor basically said, it's not that many. This was all the estimations from Morgan Stanley and Luxe and all of this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know where it is, but let me. So long story short, he estimated, I can't find it for the life of me, but he estimated that there was probably less than 1,000 of these MN21s floating around the world, which I was very happy with that number. And he did the math on it and how, what the percentage chance of, and he said even the 10% was an extremely high estimate. Then they would have made it for, let's say, 1 or 2 months before they would have stopped manufacturing the MN21, switched to MN22. Because, for instance, in December, you're not making the 21s, you're making the 22s already, right? So he built it up and he said, yeah it's probably 1,000.
The difference between these watches is just the case back, right?
Of course, the case back is the difference. So you have to be stamping the
engraving
case.
is just in the case back, so they
Exactly.
just hammer them out quickly.
Exactly. So it's effectively only the case back is different, but we as idiots watch hype idiots back in the day, and we're like, oh, the 21 is the biggest thing, blah, 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 blah. And now look at it. There's no distinguishing price difference between an MN21, 22, 23, 24, and so forth. In fact, most people now, here we are, 5 years later, they don't want a 21 because the 21s are now out of warranty.
Yes.
In November, they're going to go out of warranty, right? So they want as new as possible, which that's logic. And I love the fact that people are thinking logically again regarding this, but we'll talk about this later. But anyway, I bought the FXD. And for a very, very long time, since I had my first real dive watch, which was my Submariner, I always felt like a bit of a poser. I always thought to myself, like, how can we be so obsessed with these dive watches? And we've never even been diving, right? And we see all these quote unquote desk divers. And I said to myself, you know what? Like, I have to go and dive at least once in my life to get it done. So I wasn't planning on diving this vacation. We went to Fujairah for 6 days and everybody told me like, you're going to be bored out of your mind. And I'm like, nah, it's fine. I'll be great. I'll be in the pool. Literally first day, I was like, okay, I'm bored. What can I do?
ADHD.
The ADHD definitely kicked in. So I called around a few dive centers and my first thought was, I'm here for 5 days. It's long enough to do the full open water certification, which how often are you going to be able to do this, right? Because you need minimum 4 days to do it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm here, let's get it done. So I called them up and they said, oh, yeah, sure, here's the price. Everything was good. Falls out discount ended up being is $2,000 for the PADI license. But then you have to pay another almost 1,000 dirhams for the online training, which you have to go through PADI. So they gave me a good discount, 1,500 for the PADI course and then 500 for the PADI online training. And then altogether I was at 2K. So I said, sure, get it done. Boom, boom, boom. I paid them. And I ChatGPT'd or Googled, how long does this PADI, the actual online training take? And they're like, yeah, it's between 10 and 12 hours of online training. Ooh. And I'm like, oh, geez, like, what have I gotten myself into? And then on top of that, you have to do 5 confined dives and 4 open water dives. So 9 dives in total have to be done. The confined is in the pool. Yes, the open water is in the water. And I'm like, shit, like, I think I might have taken off more than I can, or bit off more than I can chew. So nonetheless, I said, okay.
This is my family vacation and daddy is underwater, not speaking.
Ignoring that fact. So basically I told my wife I wouldn't go past I would do midday and I'd be back by lunch every single day is what I was the agreement. So I was like, okay, let's see what happens. So everyone said they agreed that it took them a week to do this 10 hours of online training before they went to their dive site. And I'm like, no, like, I got to get this done. I'm like, okay, like, I'm an intelligent human being, so to speak. Like, I have a PhD. I could figure this out.
Some people might think so, right? Yeah. Some people might have different opinions.
Some people may disagree. So I logged in and I just saw the amount of courses or whatever sections. I'm like, oh my God, like I'm going to die. Like, there's no way. So I started at like 9 a.m, sitting at the pool bar. The pool bar hadn't even opened yet. And I said, okay, I'm going to sit here at this pool bar. I'm not going to move out of the pool. I'm just going to do it on my phone. If my phone dies, I have a power brick to charge it. And I said, once the pool bar opens, I start getting some drinks going, I'm going to get it done today. I got it done in, I think it was 5 or 6 hours
Mhm.
without even moving from my bar stool at the pool, the bar stools that are in the water. And I had a few cocktails while I was doing it. And then I was done by lunchtime. So I got it done, but it was a lot of work, right? You have multiple exams and quizzes and all kinds of stuff. And you have to remember, like a lot of questions regarding pressure, right? Like if I go down from 10 meters to 20 meters, how many additional bar of pressure am I adding? Obviously, I knew a lot of this from just the watches, right?
Mhm.
I know how that, one bar is 10 meters and, 10 bars, 100 meters, so forth and so forth, right? Or is one bar 100 meters? One bar is atmosphere, right?
I don't know. I think so, right? It's a 1 bar, 1
Yeah.
atmosphere.
I think
Then it's
it's a
true.
10
Yeah.
factor or 100 factor. I'm blanking it too. I think it is. Yeah, it is. It is. I'm right because I remember my Oris used to say 10 bar water resist, which was 100 meters.
Yeah.
So anyway, went through all this training, got it done, like all the, theoretical stuff. And I was like, shit, like, I don't remember any of this. Like, I'm not going to remember this tomorrow. Surprisingly, I remembered all of it. Right. So when we actually got in the water and we're doing everything, it was so got in the pool the first day. The guy told me, okay, we are going to get it done in 3 days because I only had 3 days left because I spent one day on the freaking. So first day was discussing with the guys how much I'm going to pay. Second day was online training. Then I had 3 days left, including, for open water and the confined. So he said, okay, we got to do all the confined today. Like it has to get done. So 5 dives, 1 day. We did it in 5-6 hours, I think it was. Got it all done, all the theoretical stuff, wearing the BCD, which is your buoyancy control device, which is essentially your inflatable vest thing that you have to wear. Dive computer. We had just a whole bunch of random stuff. Then we moved on to the outdoor diving, and they happened to have a dive trip that was going out. And they said, okay, you want to go on the boat with the dive trip? Because the original plan was we were going to just go in from the shore.
Mm-hmm.
I said, no, we don't have to do that. We can go on the boat. So we went on the boat. First day, open water dive, went down. First dive was, I think, 6 meters, 5 meters, 6 meters. Pool was maybe 3 meters, right? Then second dive already, I was at, I think, 12 meters. And remember, this is not a fun dive. You have a checklist of stuff that you have to do in order to be certified. And this is like not fun stuff. Remove your goggles.
Yeah.
30 seconds. And you have to swim around and, essentially navigate underwater. Without goggles on.
Yeah.
The salt water's burning your eyes. He turns off your tank and you have to be fine for X amount of 30 seconds or whatever it was with no air supply. Obviously you have his secondary, his, emergency, air, but like once again, you take it and you fail. So it's stuff like this. And so we did that. Then the second day we did an even deeper dive. So I've officially gone down to 16.1 meters according to my dive computer. And the hardest thing was by far, I had to try twice, was you have to swim up from 8-meter depth with no air. So, and the thing is, remember, your ears are popping like crazy. It feels like your skull's about to explode. Yeah. Because I'm not used to this, right?
Yeah, of course.
And you're swimming up and you have to time how quickly can I go up and hold my, essentially, and you can't hold your breath because the air in your lungs would expand. So essentially, if I filled up a balloon underwater and let that go, it would burst by the time you get to the top. So you cannot hold your breath. You take, kind of one big breath and you blow it out as you're going up. But you need to time it, right? Take the maximum time that you can so your ears don't blow up. And at the same time, then still make it to the top on this one, breath. So that was terrible, but got it done. I was super pumped about it.
So
and all of this,
you died. And then the second time you were okay.
Yeah. Well, the first one I went very slow because very cognizant about my ears. And then I realized, no, you got to just go. Right. But anyway, I wore my FXD the entire time. I loved it. And it just shows you, like, if that watch was smaller, 100%, I wouldn't have been able to read the time, the bezel, everything on it. I understand underwater, you need these big watches, and it was so legible. It was so crystal clear. I knew, when I was timing something, I knew exactly what I was doing. I was able to do it because the dive computer you don't touch, right? The dive computer just tells you when you're going down, what depth you're at, when your safety stop is. Effectively, there's nothing time related on there. I think dive time is calculated, but you could do that on your watch as well. And then on your watch, you're looking at the time and dive time, and then you have a pressure meter for your tank, effectively. So those are 3 things, and you may have a compass as well, which is your 4th thing you look at. So we did some underwater navigation, which is apparently a part of the license as well, I knew exactly how to do that because of the Marine Nationale, the FXD story, right? That you go with your compass, you set the bezel for the countdown bezel for how long you want to swim in a certain direction, and then you go with your compass in that direction.
Yeah.
So that's effectively what we had to do.
The waypoint.
So yeah. So I saw a bunch of cool stuff. Sharks, turtles, eels, squid. I mean, massive, massive turtles, right? Stingrays the size of a freaking Fiat.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, like how big these things are. And they're huge. And that Steve Irwin, the Australian guy, got killed by one of these, right? He got stabbed through the chest with the stinger of a stingray. So it was interesting. I had a blast. That
must be fantastic.
Yeah. And then I talked to Julian yesterday, and I was chatting with him, and he said, so did you like it, or were you, because apparently a lot of people are nervous underwater, which I didn't have any of this, right?
I only snorkeled, so I've never been with a breather underwater. But when I've been in the Maldives and whatever, diving, snorkeling, I felt always so at peace underwater.
Yeah.
It's so nice. It's so quiet. It's beautiful, and it's a completely different world underwater. It is.
Yeah. But you have to remember that some people have issues with confined spaces, right? Of course. And this kind of could be that, right? I mean, you have 16, 18 meters of water on top of you, right? So if you have any issues like that, anxiety increases your breathing. So you run out of, air quicker, and so forth, right? So I understand that some people may like this immediately. So Christy was like, this is not for me. I do not want to go underwater. So it's different, different strokes, different.
I mean, I took my wife with me. She can't really swim, but we took her on a emergency. The life vest. And of course, I gave her some bit of swimming instructions and all of the stuff. But with the snorkel, face underwater, and of course fins, and just go around and drag her around and make sure, right, with of course the instructor that was with us, and she had a blast. She really, really loved it, right? But of course, I did the
same with my daughter. I brought Lana with me, and on the last day, so she went out on the boat with us, and she just snorkeled around the top, and she had a blast. She said it was a fantastic time. So, but 100%, like this was super cool. My ears are still, because my ears are not acclimatized. So even though it's been like 3-4 days, apparently up until a week, your ears feel not great. So the pressure.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I always felt very, very also careful with me, because even if I go down 3 or 5 meters or something, whatever you can do, right? Because you're holding your breath, right? It's not so easy to go down without weights if you're just swimming. I felt like, oh my God, I mean, I can never dive deeper than that because my ears are so, it just hurts so much. And of course, this is also the pressure exchange that should happen quite quickly. It depends on your whatever, these little cannulas.
It depends a lot on your nasal passageways, right. How well, so my nose, ears, everything is like terrible, right? Allergies. If you have allergies and the things are swollen up, then everything gets compressed, right? So think about that. Like if you're already stuffy nose, then your nose is constricted because of allergies. Then you go underwater, and at a depth of 18 meters, the pressure is then even further restricted because pressure pushes everything that is air closed, right? Anything with air in it. So nonetheless, yeah, my ears definitely were not pleased with this. But it was a blast. I had a huge amount of fun. I could officially say that I am a diver now, which is awesome.
Certified by the Professional Association of Diving Instructors, or PADI for short.
Yeah. So next step will be the deep water certification, which gets you down to 40 meters, and that's the maximum a recreational diver can do.
I heard that if you are an underwater, deep water, whatever, a welder, you can make a lot of money in these.
My trainer was an underwater welder.
On these oil rigs, when you're good at that, you can make a lot of money.
He's so glad to have quit that job because this is so much more relaxing than what he was doing before. Because he was living in the diving bell. He was doing the proper, what's it called? The where you are pressurized at a certain time. Right. You're there for a month and then you're going out and you don't have to reacclimatize to the pressure every single time you go out. And I asked him what's the deepest you've ever been? And he's like 65 meters. So even these professional divers are not going 200, 100 meters.
And these are 200 the ones who are in this pressure chambers, right?
Yeah.
For days after they come up.
There's a word for that. Pressure chamber for diving.
That's why we have the helium escape valve for these kind of.
What is the chamber called? It's called what kind of diver are they?
Decompression chambers.
No. There's decompression chambers, but then these are.
Anyhow, the point is we are a watch podcast, so we have to say we have to talk about the helium escape valve that you did not need to use. We will.
So these divers called the ones that you use, not the hyperbaric chamber. The hyperbaric chamber is for decompression, but diving bell diver name. They are called saturation divers. Saturation divers. So that they're the only ones that need the helium escape valve, right? Correct. They are. I can guarantee you not wearing these watches when they're diving, right?
Yes, but it's that's why we have the helium escape valve. I still have. I don't know what this. Obviously this little Orient with 200 meters does not have this, but it's not a diver's watch.
200 meters.
Or is it? I don't think so.
It doesn't have to be. Remember, if it says 200 meters,
it says water resistant 20 bar, so 200 meters. But if it says divers on the dial, then it has to apply to the ISO certification, and it has to be tested to 220 or 240 meters, 20% plus, and it has to be the real 240 meters water resistance. Because I recently had a discussion about this water resistance, and this now coming back to water resistant watches, right? I'm doing the segue here. There was a German YouTube channel, small one, from a jewelry store that sells lots of different brands of watches, and basically said, "Oh, you're just reading this whole thing wrong. This is the real thing. 30 meter water resistance. You can wash your hands on maybe some raindrops. 50 meters. So the old stuff, right?" And of course, the comments of this video was going wild because people saying like, no, this is the old thing. This is not anymore current. And this problem is with these kind of information, when you perpetuate this, it's both wrong and right. There are some manufacturers like Omega and Tudor and Rolex and Patek and others who are basically now saying 50 meters means 50 meters. You can dive down to 50 meters. You can do aquatic activities, any of them, and dive down to 50 meters. Even Patek says this about their dress watches. If there's
Omega says meters, right?
Yeah, Omega says this. But even in the Swatch group, you go to Tissot, and Tissot tells you the old shit, right? Like, oh no, 30 meters hand washing. If you want to go in the pool and dive with your watch, even snorkeling, 100 meter, right? And you think, so even in the same group, they have not an aligned strategy.
I saw this exact debate about Apple Watches and Garmin watches, right? It's effectively the people that are buying a Garmin watch, like a Phoenix or a Forerunner. They have no idea about real watches, right? They see that my Garmin says 50 meters on it. So they said, so that means I can dive down to 50 meters. But Garmin says, no, it's for, you can swim in it. That's it.
Yes.
And light swimming, light aquatic activities is what it says. And then you end up with this like, okay, so this has gone beyond just the watch world now.
But then I thought, look, I have my deepest dive watch is the Super Ocean, right, from Breitling, 1,500 meters. It has this automatic helium escape valve in it. And I thought, okay, let me check Breitling. What does Breitling say in the FAQs? And they do the same thing like Tissot, saying, yeah, 50 meters for just normal in the pool, 100 meters for some snorkeling. And you think, that's an adventure, as a brand that actually, where you would think this is tough as nails, right? That's not. And this is where we are now split. We have the one rule that is always for divers watches, but they have to have divers watch on the dial, or Taucheruhr in German, right? If they don't, then they don't have to adhere to the ISO rules. Rolex, for example, does not adhere to the divers rules with the Submariner, because also they don't have a Lume pip on 3 o'clock, which you have. Every index has to be lumed for the diver standard. The Submariner with the date cannot do that, right? Or doesn't have the pip there. So all of these different little things, like if you did the second hand has to be loomed, and all of these other little things that you have to adhere to for a real proper diver's watch. And you have to be really water resistant. I think a diver's watch in any case is a minimum of 200 meters, right? Water resistant, I think.
Yeah.
So I think now the watch industry is divided into this. Either we are following the real deal, or we are still doing this monkey business with whatever, 50 meters means nothing. And I just feel it's even more confusing to anybody if you're saying, well, it depends which manufacturer, what they say. It's silly, right? You cannot say this is the truth, because it is not. So this is why this guy was bashed up. But the problem is he is right for some brands and he's wrong for other brands.
And this is the thing. I just asked ChatGPT about it. I said specifically for Tudor, and he said for Tudor watches that are 100 meters, that is okay for rain and swimming and light, water. For 200, he said snorkeling or sea activities,
yes.
Whatever that means.
This is,
and then it said for 500 meters for diving, which is bullshit.
Yeah, but this is exactly the point. It is bullshit because for Tudor as well, what do they say in FAQs?
I was looking, I couldn't find any Tudor FAQs.
Are all Tudor watches waterproof? I read it to you. Waterproofness has always been one of Tudor's strengths, they say. Today, all current collection Tudor watches are waterproof to depth of at least 100 meters. If you own an older Tudor watch and you're unsure, blah, 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 blah. Some Tudor watches can withstand depths of 200 or even 1,000 meters. To maintain your waterproofness, the winding crown has to be screwed down, la, 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 la. So basically they're saying, after you wear your watch, rinse it with fresh water, all of these little things, right? And always, close your screw down crown, right? And have the crown pushed in. So today,
nothing.
They're saying basically at least 100 meters. Waterproofness. That's it. And the Meta standard also says waterproofness is one of the 5 things that are being tested. So that's part of the Meta's certification, which is done in the entire encased watch, right? So, so the certified waterproofness is part of the Meta certification. So same as the certified power reserve, all of this stuff that actually you have to prove that what you claim is actually happening. So I would say modern Tudor watches, it's wrong. ChatGPT has the wrong answer. It just gives the blanket answer because it
gives you the blanket answer.
Correct.
Exactly. One is safer than the other, right? This is the safer answer. But
sure.
Anyway, weren't we talking about hype today?
We were talking so much about diving that I wanted to make the segue to talk about watches again. So yes, the hype watches is one of the things, and it's just a short topic actually. I wanted to say and want to complain that the hype cycle has shrank so dramatically that I can't even think about it anymore. Nobody talks about the Royal Pop anymore.
This is ridiculous that nobody talks about it. That was so recent,
and it was
but
such a
more so
deal.
the Tudor, the Bumblebee,
Yes,
which we were so positive about. I haven't seen one, nor have I heard of one.
you have not seen a single one on wrist shots. You haven't seen anybody reporting over it anymore. It was a short blast. Everybody released their videos on YouTube and their podcasts and whatever, and then poof, it disappeared.
It disappears.
And this is so weird because we used to have these kind of, if there's a new watch, it was this hype cycle. Like, remember the Black Bay 58 in blue? That lasted like 2 years, the hype cycle.
Yeah, I got mine and I was so excited about it.
And now this is impossible. These hype stuff, this is it goes away. The land dweller, nobody even thinks about that. Of course there is a land dweller. For example, I mean, this is a brand new watch model from Rolex, and it's not on top of mind of so many people.
So what has been hyped recently that has actually withstood the test of time? Do you remember? Okay, let me just go back. Omega Seamasters. Remember the new aluminum dial, no date Seamasters? Everybody was saying, "Oh, these are great." Nobody bought one. Remember, they weren't available for a very long time. So like nobody really, like everybody just forgot about it.
I think
so. This is the issue with the Omega in that case. They revealed it. And then the gap from revealing to the gap that it actually became available was so long that everybody just said, nah, forget about it.
I think it's one of these mistakes some watch brands do. For example, the JLC, the new Master Control Chronometry, the integrated bracelet versions. They big hype, forgotten because they're not yet even be shipped.
On the flips,
they're only coming in September. They will all be sold starting September, but there is still a bit of hype. So I wanted to say that as a positive example. And one that really still has hype that was released this year is the Cardinal Points from Vacheron Constantin.
Yeah, that still has hype. People are still talking about it.
Because also there is not so many overseas, right? In general, it's a new model in the overseas catalog. It is beautiful. It has 4 different colors, and it's a wonderful watch. And that is still hyped, and people are getting these nowadays. And you see a lot of these wrist shots and people receiving them, being happy about it, and posting this. But yeah, so many other watches which are just announced and then pew.
So speaking of like years of hype, right? 2 years. The Oyster Perpetuals, the colorful ones, those had hype for a very long time.
Yep.
The bright colored ones, the one that Christy has, as the celebration dial, had huge amounts, and then they tried to recreate this and do it again, right, with the matte colors, and then now with the celebration dial 2.0, whatever you want to call it. And I haven't heard a single peep about that.
I've seen 1 or 2 people posting their watches. They got this dial, and that just re-emphasizes that this watch is completely useless because you can't read the time on it when you see the wrist shots because you can't see the hands. It's so much color. But yeah, if people like them, they like them. I think the color choices have been a bit odd, right? Because they have reduced some of the colors. They are discontinued. Some colors have more.
So like navy blue, the traditional navy blue OP went away, and now it's this light royal matte blue.
Yeah,
and
it's a
beige.
It's a flat color. Before it was sunray blue, right? So you had.
Yeah, exactly.
And now it's become this flat colors that are so in at the moment, also with cars, and the pastel colors, right? You have lavender and you have this pistachio and these pastel kind of colors, but they don't seem to be as hyped. You see, there is a hype for a few months, maybe half a year, and then it's just like fizzling out. And we are just about the half-year time, right? Since this was announced, something, and it's. You can already see people they're like, and the prices reflect that as well, right? They're coming down in price, and I think, how can everything be so fast? Watchmaking used to be something like,
No, watchmaking used to not have hype at all whatsoever, and that's what I like. is you like look at me and my Zenith, which is gone at the moment for service. There was never any hype around that watch. And yet I, for 2-3 years, was obsessed with it. And then finally, when I found the right deal for me, I went and bought it, right? And just look at there was zero hype. Nobody cared about the Zenith. Nobody cares about Zenith, period.
Zenith in general, yes, nobody cares about.
In general. And yet I internally had my own hype, right? And this is how watchmaking used to be, is you got whatever you wanted to get because you had
But multiple of you would then talk about these watches that you're still lusting over, that you want, that is, the one model that could be in production for 10 years, 20 years, it doesn't matter, but it was.
And it has been since 2020, right? This watch came out in 2020. I bought it 6 years after it came out and still was obsessed with it. So just to show that, hype is stupid.
Yes.
But a lot of these companies are continually discontinuing and introducing new models. And don't even get me started on the term novelty. I hate every time our novelties, they're not novel. It's a different dial color. Cut it out, right? Every single watch company says novelties, like like they're curing cancer.
We have completely redefined what it means to wear a watch because the dial is now green.
And Zenith over here is like, here's a watch. It's all, monochromatic, black and gray. Enjoy. We will, sell it 10 years from now.
We call it
as
shadow.
And exactly. and no one has, discontinued. Zenith is and nobody wants to be like Zenith because they're not exactly a poster boy for successful business, but they're not introducing, discontinuing, changing things up all the time. Like Rolex discontinued a blue to reintroduce another blue to be on trend. And that is a little bit ridiculous.
Yes, I think it's a bit sad to pander a bit to this. And that's what always people used to do and beat Rolex about, right? You say, oh, they're just making these shenanigans of discontinuing certain things, certain models, and then introducing something.
Yeah, to make it hype.
And now it's just like this. It's just in a shorter period of time. How many blues did we have? We had the Oyster Perpetual 39. That was one blue with a different color.
That was the same blue as the other one. So the blue didn't change, but they had the green accent marks.
Yeah, these little dots around. Then they have the Oyster Perpetual 41, and I think we are now on the third different blue. Right?
Oh, no. They had both simultaneously, but not in the 41. So they had the 39s with the color. They had the gray, the blue, and the purple, and white and black.
They had the new versions with the double indices or something.
Yeah, the double batons. The double baton ones came later.
Correct.
And
last few years.
I lost a lot of respect for Rolex because I thought the 39s, the first three, was it only purple, gray, and blue?
It was a purple, gray. There was a white or silver.
No, the white came later. The white was already double baton.
It was the silver one with the golden hands.
That came later as well. That came with 100%. There was, I think, only 3 choices. Yeah. Because I had a picture back in the day with all of them. There was only 5. And so at one point they had the white and the black introduced later with double batons.
Okay.
And then slightly later, after that in 2020, was the silver with the gold hour hands. But once again, when they introduced the silver, that's the same time they introduced all of the colors. And I thought to myself, like, that's cool. Like Rolex finally did something cool.
Yeah.
Because it was no one was doing bright colors like this, right? They had the orange, the yellow, the green, the turquoise. But at the same time, they still had the navy blue that was available in Sunburst. They still had the silver available in Sunburst. So there was a few colors that remained and that were classic colors. So I like that. But now they've done away with the classic colors. No more classic colors, only these ridiculous freaking matte hype colors. And if you look at this, like to introduce a matte beige at the exact same time that, let's say, companies like Loro Piana are being hyped for their beige colors, right?
Yeah.
It's not a coincidence. They were trying to make something for the Loro Piana crowd. Oh, look, you get to watch the match with your stupid jumper. It doesn't, I hate this. And once again, look at how many Rolexes I currently own, right? I went from owning 3 down to 1, and the one that I kept was the least hyped and the one that you could still probably get easiest in the store. And
yeah, I think
I lost so much respect for Rolex over the last couple of years. It was ridiculous.
I also are tending a bit more to just revisiting the older versions of the watches, right? Because I mean, my first Rolex was the blue Oyster Perpetual 39, and I'm contemplating of getting this watch back or getting the Panerai Blue Notte, right? But I'm not so sure which one I'm going to go for. My biggest problem is that I bought the original Oyster Perpetual 39 back then for 12,000 dirhams, sold it for 14, and now they're trading for the low 20s if you're getting a deal, right? So, but I really enjoyed this watch, and it was a very true Rolex. It was a bit funky for Rolex at the time with the different colored dots right on it, but that's what made it a bit charming, because it was a bit odd, right? It was so yeah. Anyhow, it's still one of those watches that I like, but the current versions are also nice. The Oyster Perpetual 41.
By the way, you said the double batons. No, I just now remembered there were no double batons. Yours, 3 batons only, and then so the blue, purple, and gray had only 3 batons with the dots, the other colored dots around. Then the black and white came, and those had batons all around.
Yes,
not double batons. It was after that in 2020 where they got the stupid double batons at 369, which I hated.
Yes.
I didn't like it, but anyway.
Yeah.
Rolex, not exactly. And this is what, a lot of people say, Tudor is now what Rolex used to be.
Yeah,
and I have to agree.
Yes, to a certain extent. But what I think is also weird, I mean, at least they're not discontinuing so much with Tudor, right? I mean,
now they discontinued the Black Bay 58 in blue, which was a strange discontinuation.
That was strange, but they had the 54 in blue, right? This
different blue.
It's a different blue, yes, exactly. Which is a bit weird but on the other hand, there's so many blue 58s floating around because everybody bought this watch, right? So
yeah, but once again, I do feel like soon, maybe next year, we'll get a 58 in blue back again, and then there it is. It'll be the new 58, and that's an entirely different beast.
And I think it will be probably a redesign of the 58 generally.
No, the 58 was just redesigned.
The GMT, yeah.
No, not the GMT. I'm talking about the regular 58.
Was it also redesigned? Yeah, exactly. It was.
Of course, with the red one. When the red one came, the burgundy came. That was the first redesign of the Black Bay 58. Now they've had the classic one redesigned, and then that means there's only 2 58s without GMT. So then we're missing blue. Yeah. So I'm guessing blue will come next. The GMT has also been redesigned, but there's only one variety of 58 GMT. And why we have a Black Bay Pro, that also is kind of weird. I don't know. But nonetheless, they're not discontinuing, as you said, right?
Also, I mean, do we have a Black Bay 58 in blue? Will we get it because we have the Black Bay 54 in blue? I don't know. Also, we
have a Black Bay 54 in black, and we have a Black Bay 58 in black, so I don't see the issue there.
True. But we also have the Tudor Monarch, which nobody talks about anymore.
And nobody cares.
Which is funny because actually there's a lot of people, I mean, I tried it on in the boutique and I wasn't sold on it because I thought, usually odd watch, no lume, California dial or error-proof dial, whatever, which Rolex has a patent on. Did you know that? I mean, had.
Yeah, I did.
It's now expired. Yeah. And I thought, master chronometer, blah, 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 21,000, 39 millimeters, different bracelet, different case. Everything is new. It's a completely new line of watches. And it's just like, I don't know, did it bomb? Can you say that it just completely flopped?
Think the colors that they chose and the dial configuration, all this stuff. Yeah, it
Because
flopped.
I tried it.
Speaking of
Did
flops,
you have it? Did you have it on your wrist yet? No, you didn't, right?
not yet.
Because
I've gone to the boutique a couple times. I've seen the blue 54, which I I didn't like it in pictures. I didn't like it in real life either. I still haven't seen the yellow chrono.
I thought it had a bit of this purple tinge in this blue. This blue is very intense. It's not bad if you like it, of course. But on the other hand, this Monarch, I had it in my hand, and it did not give me this high quality feel that other Tudor watches have. And that was weird. It felt the angle's a bit too sharp. It just didn't, I don't know, felt too light. I don't know what it was. Something on it made me feel, once I had it in my hand, like, ooh, I do not want to have it. It was weird,
interesting
because usually I'm a big Tudor fan, but I'm now down to just one Tudor, and that is the cheapest in the. I think it's the cheapest, right? I mean, of the, the Ranger. I mean, it's there's
which, by the way, I was going to say, look at compared this to Omega and Vacheron and GLC with their releases. They hype this watch up, and then they just don't have any available for months at a time. Or they're not even released yet. But look at Tudor with the Ranger, with the Dune. Mm-hmm. The day it came out, we went to the boutique and it was there.
15 pieces.
And that was super cool.
Yep.
Obviously, they didn't have infinite supply, but they were there. They were available. And I really, really like that about Tudor. But once again, I'm just gushing about Tudor.
Which Tudor's, the Bloody Ranger is one of my most worn watches. And it seems that even though it has so much competition in my watch box, it's just the one watch that you can always just grab and go, right?
Yeah. So I don't think I would have a Ranger in my collection with the Explorer next to it. That's my only issue. But I'm a huge fan of it.
Yeah, if I still had the Explorer 1, there is a redundancy in this, of course.
Yeah.
If you have the Explorer 1, you don't really need the Ranger. But now that I have Explorer 2 instead of the Explorer 1, I definitely, and the white dial, of course, I definitely want to keep the Ranger. So
now, another hype thing that just happened recently, or they tried to hype it up, was the Hodinkee release. The new Hodinkee Doxa.
Yes.
And they sent out an email saying, "Oh, coming soon, Doxa X Hodinkee," and I immediately, Ralf, wow, like this could be an issue for me because I would 100% buy it if it was the right watch. And they said, recreating the rarest Doxa ever, blah, 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 a bunch of bogus, copy. And the thing is, they created a Doxa army in the 200T case. So the smaller 39mm case with 18 millimeter lugs, which if you've ever put a Doxa on your wrist, you will know. The regular 300 is measured at 42.5 wide, but it's also 42-ish long. So they're more square. Yeah. But the dial itself is tiny.
Yeah.
It's absolutely tiny. So to do this with a 39 millimeter wide case, it's even tinier. But nonetheless, ignoring that, to each their own. They released an army in a smaller size.
Yeah.
That's it. And this Doxa army has been done, right? And Doxa has said the exact same thing. This was the rarest of the Doxas released exclusively for the Swiss army, blah, 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 right? So it's been done. So making it smaller, and they said a daily wear watch, right? It did not speak to me. They could have gotten away with the date window and I would have bought it in an instant. No, they put Fotina on the dial, which once again, I think we're past Fotina in the watch world these days. Like, have white lume. Like there's no need for yellow lume, yellowish aged lume, I should say, the old radium lume. I mean, it didn't speak to me, and that disappointed me greatly as well. Of course, they sold out. I think they made 200, 300 versions or 300 copies, examples. They sold out, and immediately the next day they were all over eBay. once again, you try to hype something up, they sell, but like, are the people actually going to like it? Are they going
It's
to
also,
wear
I
it?
think, Hodinkee. I mean, sorry, I have here the builders going crazy above.
I thought it was an espresso machine in my
No,
house.
it's some drilling going on. Just wanted to say that this Hodinkee special edition or limited edition hype is also something where I think are we over it? Because so many brands have done really cool collaborations.
Yeah.
There's so many collaborations. I mean, Hodinkee had very good taste in their collaborations. They did fantastic versions. Exactly, had, because I don't think this has already been copied, right? So they are not unique anymore in what they are designing.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's just one more. Bamford does new collaborations with Tag Heuer and Team Itsukuzawa or something, right? That had a bit of hype. Yeah, but will it sell well? I don't know. It's all
No, once they made 300, it sold, right? But the benchmark is it going to sell for more than retail price 10 years from now?
exactly. And the question there is probably who knows? I mean, we don't know, but it could be.
There's a few Hodinkies that do.
Yeah.
Might I remind you of the Hodinkee IWC Spitfire with no date? One was 25,000 dirhams new, and now if you find it for 50, you're lucky. What else was a big
Grand
hit
Seiko,
for? Now the Grand Seiko flopped as well. So from my mind, the IWC was a huge that one because they did not make very many of. The rarer they are, I think but no, I wouldn't say the rarer they are because I think they had 500 of the IWCs, but no one's selling them, right? The more they are being flipped, the less people seem to care.
Yeah. Yeah, I think,
So.
yeah, it is just, the thing is that you can't even remember what happened on Watches and Wonders, even though it's not even 6 months. It's just 6 months ago. So because it's such a blur, so many releases, it's you don't have time to relax. It's like we are all constantly in ADHD in the watch world, right? If you're reading watch news, watch blogs, and all of this stuff.
It was 4 months ago, by the way.
4 months. Oh, even
months ago. 4 months ago. Even now, we can't remember.
It's crazy how quick and fast-paced everything has become, and it's the watch world that needs so much time to design things and release things. They need months and years sometimes to design a proper dial and get everything done until it can be produced and all of this stuff. It's too fast, The Royal Pop maybe pushing out new colors, but everything else.
I think that this Moonswatch has some not hype left, but still people are buying them
because that's
and
beautiful.
The Blanc Blanc was a flop, the Pop was a flop, but the Moonswatch somehow, the magic was right, the timing was right. Everybody, this was end of COVID, kind of a birth, a renewal, right, of hope, and everything was right for the Moonswatch. And it's been very, very rare that has been recreated. So,
yeah.
I mean, what do you think over the last, let's say, 10 years of us being in this godforsaken hobby? What has had more hype and more success than the Moonswatch?
I don't think anything, because from when we just take it out of the watch bubble, not much. Because when do you see normal people who are not watch people queuing up for hours to get this watch? Because
those weren't flippers.
They're excited,
like they are now.
People were not. And
these were people that wanted them.
I think it was unprecedented, right? I mean, I've never seen
my students who knew nothing about watches knew about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such I guess the only thing I could really liken it to would be people queuing up for Apple back in the day, right? Back iPhone 5, 6 kind of era.
It sometimes baffles me that we still see this today with every release of a new iPhone, that people are still queuing up like that.
But nobody cares anymore as much.
You would think, but there's still hundreds of or thousands
Yeah.
of people in the malls standing there the first day of the
I guess
release.
another
first
watch
couple.
that has had equal success,
Mm.
that was a big hit, big splash, was also the PRX. So basically, what we have,
But it was it was a big success for sure, and it was then some of the colors also had like the blue, the glacier blue, all of this stuff was good.
no, they tried to duplicate the success of the original one. The navy blue and black dials were fantastic.
Yeah.
But the same with the Swatch, right? You get lucky once,
But no,
and then you try to force it to get lucky second and third time, and it's a joke.
Yeah, the Tissot is still their main selling
still a watch.
Tissot, and it's really beautiful. And it's a wonderful watch. I still want to have the carbon version of it. I have to find a good.
A bit much for me, I think, the price.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm waiting to get it pre-owned. You can get it with a nice discount for like $800, $900 if you're getting it even new, and some channels. But yeah, I still wait a bit, see if I can find it pre-owned a bit cheaper, because carbon doesn't age. I think yes, at least not for 1 or 2 years.
You're right. We had that discussion last time.
We say I guess because we don't know if it ages, but let's see. But yeah, that's the thing. I think there's good watches, and then I miss a bit this time when you had a model that might be 10 years in production or whatever, and it's still being in production, and you still have people lasting after it,
wanting it. Yeah. We don't have this anymore, right? It comes out, people buy it, and that's it. Remember the Hulk? When the Hulk first came out, nobody wanted it.
Yes.
I remember being offered the Hulk at a cheaper rate than the black dial back in the day. They said, yeah, we could give you a discount. This was in America. They can give you a discount on the green one, but not on the black. And I said, but who the hell wants the green one, right?
Yeah.
It just shows you how, and now, of course, the only reason people wanted it was because of forced, rarity.
After it was discontinued, people wanted it.
No, even
the rumor was discontinuing
because they knew it was rarer than the black one. But when it was readily available, nobody gave a shit, and that's the issue with this whole watch people. I don't like it. I've spent a lot of time talking with my good friend ChatGPT about my collection, which I've gone into it. I have a saved, chat with him about all this watch related stuff. And I've chatted with him quite a long time, specifically for opinions regarding new purchases. So saying, this has come out, or I'm interested in this. What do you think? And he'll outright tell me, nah, you're going to sell it in 2 weeks. And I'm like, thank you for letting me know. I will not buy it. Right. And it's like, it's nice because I told him everything I've had, essentially, how quickly I've flipped things, what I've rebought. And this is the thing. It's nice. If you haven't done this, I would suggest, if you want to just have a sounding
board who will tell you what you want to hear, then go and check.
He will break it down in percentages. He'll say 60% chance you're going to flip it within the first, he said first couple months, 80% chance you'll flip it within the first 6 months, and 98% chance you'll flip it with the first year.
Here's my advice: get a reasonable friend outside of the watch bubble and explain it to that person what you have in mind, and then listen to that advice.
Anyway, on that bombshell, if there's anything we've forgotten about, by the way, which I'm sure there might be some hype watches we forgot about that were bigger than the Swatch, maybe even the Moon Swatch.
Who talks?
Let us know.
Huh? For example.
Oh yeah, I had a lot of hype.
Not much.
Not much at all. Maybe the G-Shock Royal. What is it? What was it? What was it called? The Casio. That had some hype behind it. Still is going.
Still going. People still new versions coming out. Still colorways. Yeah. Has found its place in the collection, right? It's still there.
It's just like the PRX has.
Yep.
Just like the Moon Watch has.
Yep.
But anyway, all right.
See you then.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.